The All Smiling Faces podcast is now sponsored by Tyre Spot, the Northeast's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the All Smiling Faces podcast on the GallowgateShots YouTube channel. We are back, all four of us. Myself, Chris, joined by bestie Decker and Mark this week. And
back four.
Back the what? The back four.
What a back four. Yeah.
All right. What a back four.
Formidable.
The pace in the fullback here, guys. It's just amazing.
I reckon we've got more pace than centre backs. But do you know what it is, boys? It's been a bit of a difficult week for Newcastle United. Myself and you, Decker, we did a match reaction on last Monday after the home defeat to West Ham, which was a painful watch, but we'll not touch too much on that one right now. We go to Crystal Palace and concede last minute equaliser in a game where Newcastle United failed to have a single shot at goal. Is anybody else worried, or is it just me? Because you were quite reasonable in the WhatsApp group saying, "Oh, it's fine, it's fine." I'm worried, mate.
Yeah, we're going. Chris is how out again this week.
I'm not, but I'm concerned by the performances that we're putting in against 19th in the Premier League.
So,
not a shot on goal. There's no defending that, by the way.
So, if it wasn't for that last minute goal, that's an absolute sickener. I think perceptions would be a lot different.
I sat and I put in the. I know you don't read the messages very often. I said in that group, it's one of the worst and most boring games of football I have ever watched as a Newcastle fan. It was a bad performance from start to finish.
It was horrendous. And regardless of the win, like there's loads of people have it's as rough as my throat. Like Sean Dyche tonight. There's loads of people I've seen have said like on they whatever them two journalists and stuff have said like, even if you got the win there, you've still got to ask questions of the performance. We got battered. We got absolutely battered. And I'm not convinced we got battered if it wasn't at all. Like, well, Pope made 3 or 4 when Burn cleared one off the line. They missed an open goal in the first half. There's an absolute open goal.
Shea kind of did a clearance when it was well beyond him as well at one point.
If we could have been sitting tonight, it could have been, and I'm going to say the own goal still counts. We could have been sitting tonight, could have been 3 or 4-1, and there's nothing we could have said about it. Nothing.
On the balance of play, it would have been fair. Although I agree with Mark that I think the fact that they conceded when they did did.
That didn't bother me at all.
I think it did. It was a kick in it.
I don't believe you.
No,
I do not believe you.
But
it was not.
Whilst I agree with that,
shite man.
I also agree that it was a terrible performance. It was really attacking wise. It was. They defended really well for the most part.
Yeah. Well, agreed. Absolutely agreed.
They defended. They did. The Palace had those. I mean, they did have a few, but they were dealt with. I mean, by virtue of the fact that Burn cleared that one off the line, he read it brilliantly. After Pope makes a save, Burn continues his run to the back post, and he's there to do it. That's good defending. The one where Shea does that, it's good defending. Pope make no saves. You can't say it's good defending, but a good goalkeeper to make those saves.
It depends how you judge good defending, innit? Because I say good defending is you're solid and you didn't really have any no issues for the.
I think there were for the most part.
Issues.
They did have those, but then the open goal thing was he was on his own at the back post. That was poor.
Got ripped apart. Yeah, got ripped apart.
But I still think for the most part, attacking wise, I don't think there'd be any argument that it was dreadful. What was the one shot?
There wasn't.
I was texting Decker before him. You said there's one shot at goal, and I went, I can't even remember the one shot. I'm not sure. I don't even know what it is.
It depends what stats you read, because the majority. Well, I'm saying the majority. It's probably 60-40 in favour of 0 shots on target.
Are you not worried by that?
That is poor. That is absolutely poor.
I don't think we're just looking at one game here.
That's what's important. There's a few happy clappers as well, by the way, that are just literally like refusing to give any kind of criticism at all. Like, you know what I mean? And they're more like Mark saying, well, let's go in the last minute. we would have won. How's
that
comments
is the context to the situation.
How's comments at the end of the game were absolutely awful as well, by the way. If Bruce had said them, we would have been fuming. He turned around and says, luck turned against me at the end of the game. You weren't in the game? No, there was no mention. I would rather him be honest. He said we were good for large parts of the game. Again, he says this every week. When we were good in that game.
I'd agree with him.
What?
To Bestie's point that he's just made there earlier,
against 19th in the league, we were good. We didn't have a shot.
But you're looking at pure stats on a piece of paper.
What else do you want to
The
look at?
19th in the league.
Well,
Does that mean
also said there was
does that mean they can't turn up and have a performance and play well?
Right. So
just because
so hold on a second. So hold on. So we played. I'm going to go back to West Ham for a second. So we played West Ham at home, right? And you left early. Can I add? No, I was just joking because I got there before best. Second of all, when he put
left before the round of around the pitch.
When he put 6 minutes up on there, me and you laughed
about 45 minutes before
60 minutes. Didn't we say that? So I would say take out the first maybe I don't know.
First half we were all
20 minutes or so. Yeah. We had some good chances, right? The second half, that keeper never made a save.
It's West Ham.
This is West Ham.
Yeah,
so you're talking the full second half of a game of football against a team who are dross, by the way. Got pumped 5 in the first half in the next game they played. Didn't have a single shot at goal. You've had a full week off, no international football, no injuries, no European football. No one's tired. Everyone's fully fit except Botman. You're going against a team that's 19th in the league. I would have expected a reaction here. You don't have a single shot.
We also didn't have a striker for a good length of the game.
And then another thing he says, I didn't have one to bring on. You didn't have one to bring on. Well, that's strange, isn't it? Who was on the bench? Like?
So would you have risked Callum Wilson for...
No. Who else is on the bench?
Well, would you have risked Callum Wilson? You've just said no.
Who else was on the bench?
So therefore you bring on Asula as your other striker.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
But do you not...
You can't turn around and say there's not a striker on the bench. That's what he said. He said there's not a striker on the bench. There's one sitting next to you.
No,
there's literally one on his phone. He's like, you're sitting there. You can't turn around and say there's not one there when there is.
I'm not sure that's what he said.
No, he did. I watched it, man. He definitely said that.
I'm not sure that's what he said.
He says we played really well. Well, not really well. I'll stretch that one.
Good at times.
He said we were good at times.
Which we did.
We kept the ball really well. No, he's watching like... It's insane saying that. Why can't you not just come out at the end of that game and go, that is not what we are about? Yes, we were unlucky that we could have won the game, but that is not the Newcastle United that I want to see on that team. It's not. It's not.
Honestly, and I had this conversation very briefly in the WhatsApp group yesterday. I wouldn't give any credence whatsoever to Eddie Howe says in the press conference, pre-game, post-game. It's all PR. That's all it is. He won't be. Well, I mean, for the players, it's not PR. It's internal PR. If that's such a thing. It's for the players' benefit that he's not going to be giving anything away. He's going to be saying it full time. Yeah, it was all right. You could probably have played any of the press conferences for any point in the last 2 years. 2 years, been there 3 years now, nearly. And it wouldn't have made it. All he does.
They also said, "How are you not scoring goals?" I mean, I don't know. I've changed nothing.
Again, so what do you want to say? What do you want to say? Do you want to go into tactical breakdown and say what we're trying to do is try to? He's not going to give anything away. He's just going to say
no, but I agree with it.
There's no point.
I probably believe him there though. And is that not a problem to say I've changed nothing? So we literally can't score any goals,
right?
So you don't. So it's all right to change nothing.
So he's changed nothing.
Yeah. So that's
so where does the fault lie?
He's changed what? So you feel that that's fine then, is it?
So no. Hang on, he's saying he's changed nothing. Yeah. So what has changed
from last season? The question was from last season.
Yeah.
So you've scored 85 goals last season, whatever it was. Why can't you not score them anymore? I don't know. I haven't changed anything. That's a good answer, is it?
That's what I'm saying. So he hasn't changed anything.
Okay.
The personnel is obviously he's went off injured, but if you look across the games, so what has changed?
But teams might have found well.
The performance of the players.
Every single week we sit down here and go, when a team come and play a low block, we can't break them down. Do we just keep saying that? Do we just keep losing? Fine,
I don't think.
Surely you've got to change something to try and score a goal.
But you're putting all of the blame on
No.
So that's what I'm saying.
It's not just Howe's fault. No, it's not. No, it's not just Howe's fault. It's also the players.
So that's exactly what I'm saying to you.
Of course they do.
So he hasn't changed anything.
But
so what has changed is the performances of the players. That's what I'm saying.
So that's not also fine by Howe to say I haven't changed anything, and that's not a fine answer to me. That's not like, oh great,
no. But you also just in the same breath 2 minutes ago, you sat there and said we had 4 or 5 chances against West Ham.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If they go in,
oh god, me and your tits now is.
But that's
where we are again.
So. But we again, 30 seconds before that, you said we were outclassed.
We didn't have a single
Palace
shot on
had 4 or 5 shots on target.
They did. That's factual, yeah.
So it was the same facts on West Ham, but it's irrelevant when we do it, but it's very relevant when the other team do it.
I have literally just said, except the first half, we didn't have a single shot at home against West Ham, who are dreadful, by the way. Didn't test their goalkeeper for 45 minutes, made 100 changes, never made a single save by the goalkeeper. We then go away to a team that's 19th and don't have one shot. I have no idea. We can sit here and go, that's really good. That will be fine.
And I think
I've never once said it was really good.
I think we'll have to address the fact that we can argue saying, we didn't have a striker for a large percentage of the game.
That's a big part of the argument.
Yeah, but last season, 85 goals were scored last season, and we were getting goals from everywhere on the field. That's also worrying that the rest of the players can't score a goal.
Which is exactly the point I've just made, that, again, he's ignoring, is the fact that the players aren't performing.
Yeah, but we can also say that Eddie's saying that he hasn't changed anything. I'm seeing a huge change. We are not the high-intensity team that we were. Far from it.
Is that him changing that, or is that the players on the pitch not doing it?
Can't answer.
That's what I'm saying.
If he's saying, if he's saying that, then should he not be changing something?
That's the point I'm trying to make.
If he's saying we've changed nothing, but it's not working somewhere, and you made a point earlier, I think that teams will know how we set up, and we go, right, here's how you. If you double up on Anthony Gordon, he's a drop bit deeper against Gordon. He's not as effective, so you do that. You keep him at arm's length. You do that against him. You do that against him. We've seen he's actually struggled a bit more this season. He had a bit of a better run prior to the international break there. But if teams have now kind of got an idea as to how to play against Newcastle, then Eddie Howe should change something.
But have they not had that same idea in the last 18 months? Even before that?
Well, yeah, but the longer that we are doing that, the more likely that they are. It's the same as anything. If you don't kind of evolve, then you devolve. You go backwards. If you,
we've all said, right, that we struggle against a team that, and I'm not saying Palace necessarily did this, but in general, we really struggle against a team that comes back and sits back, and we can't bring them down. We've said that for a while, right?
A long time.
And I also think a lot of have said that we normally in games will start quite well, quite aggressive. Certainly at home, away form has been poor, other than the Forest game, which was class, I have to say. Once we sort of blow them ideas out, we start a game, we do what we got to do. And once a team gets over that sort of hurdle, I don't find that we offer much else. I thought
we started really well against West Ham.
We did. That's what I mean. We do have them moments in games where we go, this is the Newcastle that we expect and we've seen before. But once the team weathers that storm, well, that's it.
I also think that there's been a massive overreaction. People on Blue Sky saying that
we'll finally had the reaction on Blue Sky.
People saying, I think we should start questioning how is it time is taking as far as he can. Literally,
that's everywhere. I'm not.
Literally 7 days ago, the West Ham game hadn't kicked off yet, and we were second, 2 points off third, and we're just won our last away game convincingly 3-1. It's been a week. It's been 2 games. The first, even against West Ham, I thought for most of the first half we played really well. Well, both goals were very preventable. Second, the biggest concern for me out of the last 2 games, Palace was pretty terrible. It wasn't a very good game either way, but I thought defended fairly well for the most part. Going forward, I had nothing. I thought Tonali was excellent. West Ham, the way after they got the second goal, everything just fell away.
Yep,
that's really concerns me more than anything. Anything I saw at the weekend was the changes that were made against West Ham, and when their heads go down, didn't look like getting out of our own half. Never mind scoring a goal. That to me is the most concerning.
Is that what you're saying, Bestie? Because it's been highlighted quite a bit from certain players where the body language is shocking at the minute.
That West Ham game, I don't know if I'd call it body language, but it
was a massive deflation, wasn't it, from the side?
It felt like they had to. The one maybe was being told to do something that they hadn't been drilled to do, and they didn't know how to do it, and it was like the shapes all gone. We've seen it happen. It happened under the previous manager most weeks, but under how it's so stark because they are so well drilled. I've heard Dan Burn talking about it, saying you know exactly when the ball's there, and you've got it. You know exactly where you're meant to be, and it's like repetition, and that's how you. It's like the old Roy Hodgson thing of you would tie centre halves together and train them, or the defenders together, and that's your line, and you retain it during the match, and that's how he trains it. I think
when Bruno runs, is he tied to someone? Is he trying to drag someone along when he runs?
He's got his 2 shoelaces tied together. But I think that's the thing. I think when they haven't got that, when the game plan kind of falls away a bit, I don't think there's a structure there to say, right, people say no plan B. I think he has got a plan B, but it's beyond that. And that for me was quite alarming, the way that happened against West Ham towards the end.
He also admitted how he said it. Yeah, that was disjointed and it's not what we.
It was terrible. It was like the players all over the place. Like the point where he brought Anthony Gordon dropped it in midfield, like dropped back when I think Barnes and Joe Linton, I forget exactly who it was now. And I thought, well,
there was body language on Saturday that was quite worrying. I thought there was a moment where Joe Linton, I think it was where Pope saved one with his legs or early on.
Yeah.
They give it offside. I'm not sure if it would have been offside. I think that shot may have stood, but I think it was maybe after that when they give offside. But Joe Linton loses the ball on the edge of the box and he goes off, like throws his hands up in the air. And I was like, oh. And then Gordon there was a few times as well, looked frustrated. I get they're going to be frustrated because they're not
There's a
playing
couple of players I want to mention, and it's players that are well thought of, and rightly so. Bruno being one, and we've spoke about Bruno so many times since the start of the season, that complete different player to what he has been over the last 2 years for. This season, I think he struggled. What we've mentioned, obviously, the captaincy, since he's had that, he's struggled in most games. There's been a couple of anomaly performances where you think, oh, that's the Bruno that we know, but those are few and far between these days.
Two at the most.
Gordon as well. Gordon against Crystal Palace, he couldn't pass the ball.
But this is the point that I'm trying to bring a bit of sense and semblance to it. Is everybody's getting it how and complaining about how and is it the end of the line and the performances and stuff like that. The players on the pitch, you've got to look at those players. They are the ones that are going out there and not putting performances in there.
How can the end if that keeps happening? And I don't want this to happen. I think this is why I'm so angry. Is I got the banner on. I don't want how to go anywhere, man, anywhere at all. But it is worrying, right? Do you not watch that? It's worrying, right? Surely it's got
but again, let's just have a bit of sense, as you've said yourself. And I don't believe for a second that you would be in the way that you are if we hadn't conceded that last minute goal, because it doesn't matter in any game when you concede that last minute goal, it's a huge kick in the
teeth. It is, but I think we would still sit here and go, that was a bad performance and we're being lucky to get the 3 points.
I would say we weren't at our best.
No,
which we absolutely weren't.
Not having a single shot at goal and we're getting 3 points is very lucky.
Horrendous as being made out.
But not having a single shot at goal and walking away with 3 points.
That's concerning.
Lucky.
But again,
not having a shot and goal at a bloke who scored doesn't play for yet.
I read in the Athletic today that they were saying if we had hung on, and I know we didn't, but if we had, it would have been the lowest.
We're 30 seconds away from a victory.
Would have been the lowest win by any team in Premier League history with that level of XG. It was the lowest of all time. It was 0.02. And would have been the lowest ever if we had hung on.
You couldn't say that would deserve the win by any stretch of imagination. But I do agree with Mark that I think the nature of the equaliser is really
it's a kick in the teeth.
It's a kick. I don't think it's made people all of a sudden say, well, that wasn't very good. But I think it's pushed a lot of people further down that
absolutely
path.
Yeah.
I think we would have still been sat here, as you say, if we'd have won 1-0. We would have still been sat here going, fine, that was terrible, wasn't it? Because what I've done, we did it after Southampton, we did it after the Drew Bournemouth.
Wolves was it seems every game.
Yeah.
But
I don't know why.
It's moving the focus away from where it really should be, and that is the performances of the players and those that just aren't doing what they should be doing.
Mind, I'll tell you what, on about performances of the players, this is a part I'm really going to agree with you, Mark. Willock on Monday last week.
Awful.
I know he got injured towards the end of it, but that one we had.
He wasn't much better on Saturday. In all honesty,
after the game, you went there, Mark, you off. But we were that time we tried to flick it. He's on the sideline in front of the stand.
Unbelievable.
And it was like
it was as if he thought he was on the other wing, right?
Weird. It was such a strange.
He'd done a flick as if he was playing on the left wing.
He's got the whole pitch, but
do you know what I mean?
But there was a point at the start of the West Ham game where he makes a run, hasn't got the ball, but there's space there, and he makes a run across the halfway line more or less, and picks it on the right hand side in front of the dugouts. We're attacking the Gallowgate. And I thought that's a great run. That he's got a boy's done something. I don't think anything happened in the end with it. It wasn't like a shot and goal. But I thought whoa, well, it looks hungry here. It looks going to be a good game. This, and then for the rest of the game, he did. It was, and I like Joe Willock a lot, but it was a really pop.
I like all of them except Jake Murphy. I like all of them. Honestly, I love all of them. Like I really do. But
I love Jacob Murphy, but mine really came on.
Come on, let's not go back. It's bad enough on Saturday.
Going back to your point around Bruno and the fact that the captaincy. I mean, I've always loved Bruno, but that captaincy is it's a step too far. It's a step too far when he's been given it. He's not able to win a coin toss for fucking love nor money. It's weighing far too heavy on him. We're completely lacking.
Do you think
any
that is
sort of
leadership
leadership,
doing that, or he's just not having a great season?
I think it certainly contributes to his performances.
Okay,
because it's not allowing him to just get on with his game. Obviously, he's being targeted by other players as well and stuff like that. You know, that they'll look at that. A lot of what we do will go through him, as Bestie mentioned with Gordon as well. He's not at his best. But when you just look around that team, there's nobody crying out as as a leader and trying to drag people along.
Dan Burn, I think you
Screen
could
it.
argue.
That's probably your only
Yeah.
one share to some extent. Is it pains us to say it, and I know is that you've got the best club captain that you could possibly have who's sitting on that bench. It's really difficult because you don't want to put him in the team because that means you're going to have to leave Tino Livramento out, who's been fantastic this season for most parts of it.
Mhm.
So you're just in a real difficult position that in order to get somebody with that can actually motivate, encourage people and drag them on, because as much as Bruno can shout and scream at the crowd when he wins a throw-in, he's just not doing it with the other 10 players on the pitch.
Do you think that would change performances, though?
I think it has a big driver. If you've got somebody that's on that pitch that is dragging your performances along, encouraging you,
Well, does
leading you forward.
not do that? Gordon surely must be able to do that. In terms of
think-
carrying the
Are
ball.
you seeing it?
No, I'm not, because I keep saying every week we're not playing very well. No one seems to want to listen, though. Everyone says, it's fine, it's just a player, it's not how, it's not this. It's collectively a problem, right? There's something wrong. Like, and I wasn't going back to, if I'd have beat them, I would have been 2 points behind them, wouldn't it be lovely? Didn't happen, so it hasn't happened.
But that's your argument against our performances as well. You said the same about the first half. We could have been 4-1 down. So that's why I'm saying it's okay.
No, but
it's okay when
I
the
mean,
opposition do that, but it's not okay when we do it.
sorry, say that again. What do you mean by that? Sorry, say that again.
So go back to West Ham.
Yes.
When I said,
Right.
well, we had 3 or 4 good opportunities in
Yeah.
the first half. Well, we didn't take them.
Yeah.
But then you've just sat there before and said, well, Crystal Palace had 3 or 4 great
The
opportunities.
second
to
bottom of
do.
the league, man.
Well, surely that means
The
that
second bottom of the league, man.
surely that means it evens itself out, so we can't take either into consideration. We've had poor
Well,
performances.
when you've seen the lineups before the game, what was your thoughts when you seen it? Hindsight away here. When you look, do you think, "Whoa, I was really pleased."
I would
Right, so
I would expect it to go there and put in a good performance and trouble them, and
have a shot.
based on
and none of that happened, right?
based purely on, because I know you love to look at the league table and just to expect to beat teams.
They've only won 1 in 13, I think, wasn't it? 1 in 13.
Those second bottom.
Yeah.
They've won 1 in
So,
13.
so based on that, yes, you go into that game feeling confident of your performance and you win.
And this is, and I'm going to come back to the West Ham game again because of how bad that West Ham game was. Because it was, right? Let's be fair.
Second
was
half,
dreadful, right?
it went.
I
went
really
also
thought
tilted.
we're going to see a reaction here. Like, I really did think that. And even if we had lost the game, right? But you come in, you go, let's flip it a little bit. I would have, let's say we had the chance, like Isak misses that chance there and there's one off the line and blah, blah, blah. I would honestly sit here and go, well, at least we're creating chances, or at least we're looking at a threat. I just find it worse when the performance is so poor. It's for the talent we've got on the pitch as well. You've got a 60 million pound striker, you've got a winger who everyone's wax lyrical about.
And that's
You've
what
got
I'm
a
saying.
midfield, that's where the 150 million is.
They
You know what I
didn't
mean?
perform.
Like,
They didn't perform.
Every time I looked up on Saturday early on, I was playing chain sets with the kids, something like that, while watching the game. Every time I looked up, there was someone else in a white shirt on the deck. They were hitting the
First half, we're getting battered all over.
That's why
Yeah.
he went off on it. He went out. Joe Linton was down for a bit. Willett was down for a bit. I think Bruno.
There's 3 at one point.
Every time I looked, there was. Every time I looked, I said, "Christ, what?" And that's when went off. And it was. I think it's kind of something that we do a little bit where we're physical. It's like let them know you're there type of thing. And Palace did that early on, and it worked. And I think that's.
do you find that we're worse away from home in that regard? Like, as you say, I find I'm saying bullies maybe too strong of a word.
No, I
but
think it's
like,
probably the right way to
maybe
use.
bully, like,
Yeah.
I find
Yeah,
away from
bullies is
home, I
fair
do find
in the
that we're.
context. I don't know what away form isn't actually that bad. It's results wise. It's
Yeah.
It's
It was made out a lot worse than what it actually
Well, I think
was.
before the Forest
we haven't
game-
really performed that well. Forest notwithstanding away from home all season. That I remember.
I can't remember. Like,
But results wise, we're playing badly and we're playing badly and getting results. I suppose a draw at Palace, in the scheme of things, an away draw. If you draw your away games, win all your home games, you're doing all right. We're not winning our home games is the problem. We're not drawing any.
Which is not very good at the moment. That's the
Well,
for me. That's just what it is.
We're not. If we can, it feels like before the international break, there it felt like we were just starting to get the Arsenal game and the Forest
Chelsea,
game.
it was
Chelsea,
and the
Arsenal.
Cup.
Chelsea and Arsenal.
It was a great week. That was a
Yeah,
great
that
week,
was-
no doubt about it.
Well, there we go. That was a great week. We won 3 games,
Yeah.
Mm.
and now we've drawn 1, lost 1. And how about he's not good enough?
Well,
He's taken as far as he
again,
can.
banner on, because I think he's thinking I'm going
that's
down this
more
route.
when Mark says
I'm not thinking that. That's
when-
not what I'm thinking.
when Mark says that that the results kind of tainted people's opinions. I think I'm kind of putting words in Mark's mouth here a little bit because you know what I mean. But I think to me, that's kind of more the thing is that late equaliser has made people kind of hit the panic button instead of just saying it wasn't very good. But in fact, it was a pretty desperate performance.
That's what I wish I would have said as well.
But if you'd given us a draw at the start of the game, I might have taken it.
You're not taking that, bestie.
I might.
You're not,
any away draw in the Premier League is not bad.
You're not taking that, man.
Honestly.
But you cannot.
No, but if you're
Like I
off at it, you take your chances and go, no, I think we can get 3 points here.
But there
You
again,
don't
if you-
take a point at Palace, man.
Imagine anyhow going to have that attitude.
100%. You
There
do.
is-
You
and
go and you
just the
do
result.
expect more based on that. They've had a tough season. That we've came off, or admittedly not on Monday, but that little run of spell of football before the international break, where we've looked good, we've played some good football. You go into that game with a lot of hope that we're going to do it because you're looking for that reaction as well. But there's two sides playing. You cannot just, like Crystal Palace will have a performance where they'll do stuff. We can't even say they were brilliant. I'm only saying they created a couple of chances and
They
stuff
weren't
like
great,
that.
but there was
But
one part where they broke. It was actually the one where they missed a shot. At the back
Beautiful
post.
move. That.
Ez's little touch on halfway. Where
there was
that was
4 or 5 of
really
them
great, that, like.
against Shea. That was it.
He's
And
got
a couple
to score,
They-
trailing
yeah,
behind.
So I
He
was
does that,
looking
right?
at some of the stats before, and Palace created 5 big chances in the game, whereas opportunities where there should be really big hitting the target at least.
Yeah.
I think they had 4 shots on target, and
There was 3. The Pope makes a good
I
save to his
think,
left.
like, and
Shea
just to go
clears
back
one
a little
and
bit, I
Burn
know we
clears
mentioned it a little bit, but I think we were very lucky to still be in that game.
Yeah, I agree with that.
100%. 100%.
Like I mentioned,
It's
he
lucky, but
missed-
it's also good
so
defending.
it was
Good
it,
goalkeeper.
Who scored it? Was it Munez or
He
Munoz?
scored, but he's
So he scored. He missed 2 earlier on. Completely missed the set.
He was the one that missed the
Then
other.
he missed another one.
There was a lad, is it Mateta, the lad up front? He spanning, blasted one over the bar.
Yeah.
Pope saved one with his sort of his shoulder.
Mhm.
There was one with his legs.
Ezzy
Burn
had
off
the one
line.
where
There's
Shaw saves it.
loads of chances, man.
There's loads of chances where you're thinking we're lucky to even still be in this, and that's worrying for me. And I know we're saying like, going to Palace and every point away from home is good, and it probably is. But going into the game, I don't want to say the
I'm
word
expecting.
expecting,
But
but
that's exactly what
No,
it is.
no,
no,
but that's what you do as
But
a
it
football
is.
fan. Like
You're-
we can't go in. Like let's just say we're doing a match reactions, right? Every single match reaction to what we're doing on the channel, might as well go. Oh, we'll take a draw now.
That's what I'm saying.
There
It
no
shouldn't-
point.
it shouldn't be an expectation.
But
it
it
should be a
should.
hope.
Do you think
and a
Liverpool are
desire.
going? Do you think Liverpool are going to go to play anyone in the Premier League that are outside the top 4 and go? We should beat these.
Liverpool
we are
are
not
light
Liverpool.
years ahead
No,
of
but do
us.
you think Liverpool's
That's not
gonna go to
a
St. James-
fair.
Well, do you think Liverpool's going to go to St James's Park and say, "Oh, we'll take a point"?
Again,
Of course, nah.
the way
Their
Liverpool
fans
play
looking at
minute,
Newcastle's performance say we should batter them.
But you're on about points and winning here. That is not what I'm talking about. That's why I'm going to say it again. That goal at the end, am I interested, man? Did you expect a better performance? That's the problem I've got. And you're going, you shouldn't expect this. Did you expect a better performance than that? And if you're saying no, then there's something seriously wrong with you. Like,
I did, but
there
again,
you
as
go.
as we said earlier, I don't think the performance. I think the back 4, for most parts, were very good. Tonali was probably the only one I thought in midfield that had a reasonable game. The rest of the midfield and strike force, if you can call it that, based on that performance, were very, very poor.
I would say that I never expect a good. I expect a performance like we had at Fulham or at Bournemouth. I tend not to expect good performances where.
And the Fulham performance was a hell of a lot worse than Saturday was.
Even the Fulham performance was part of the second half where we were much better than we were
Knocking on the door.
Saturday. It was that the Fulham performance was the.
we're just lucky them didn't take their chances, because I know you're saying that, but if them had took their chances, that performance is immediately, it is worse. The performance was honking, man, on Saturday.
So
Which
does
is
that mean that if they didn't take that chance at the end, the performance is better.
No.
If they take a chance, it doesn't affect them. Of course, it does.
But that's
You haven't taken either
the
there,
opposite ends
What
of
did I
the
say there? Sorry.
the
You said
spectrum.
if they
that
take
you
one of you said if they take one of their chances, the performance is worse. So if they don't,
Oh,
the flip side of that would be
because Pope hasn't played as well, clearly, because he hasn't saved anything.
so the flip side is if they don't take a chance at the end, then the performance is better. That's the plan. That's the same logic.
Okay, right. I'm going to meet you halfway on that one.
It's 5-2-1 though. Like when you think about the 5 opportunities and they scored one of them.
No,
yeah,
but that's football, man. You cannot just.
I know it's football, but at
It's
the
not
end of the
football
day-
for us. We didn't have a shot.
at the end of the day, like no matter which way you look at it, right? And you say we can't look at league position, stuff like that. We can. We're now in the bottom half of the Premier League table, and you count on
On goal difference.
No, but if you look at it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at the end of the season. You don't
How
go,
awful
well,
is that?
like
Come on, it's context.
It is.
Look at the
context.
league table. How many teams are on exactly the same points as us?
And
One goal difference.
right?
Not even results
But it doesn't
difference.
matter. But that's
One goal difference.
But that's
Where are
worrying
we
'cause
in
it's
the
one
table?
goal difference because we can't score goals. That's the worrying thing.
Mine were in the bottom half of the table in like March as well and finished 5.
I
The
know,
league,
but-
the league table doesn't really mean anything at the minute.
Right now, right.
How
So
long are you going to keep saying that, though?
I know.
You've been saying it all season.
Well,
If I ask you a question, right?
Full time the 30th game.
If I ask you a question now, based on what we are seeing so far this season,
Mhm.
where will we finish in the league?
The thing with that is
Doesn't matter. Give us a
no,
number.
no, it does.
Don't answer that question because it's written in an envelope on that
The
shelf
thing
behind
with
me.
that
No,
is
we're based on the start of the season.
something I always, and I've said this time and time again on here, I always think a mark of someone having a really good season is that they've got twice as many points as they've got games played. So if you played 17 games, you've got 34 points. That's a sign of a team doing really well. There's only one team in the Premier League got that at the minute, and that's Liverpool. Everyone else falls short of it.
Right.
So what I think we will do, it's hard to say because everyone's inconsistent. Villa are beneath it.
Horrendously.
Villa had a good start of the season. They're beneath it. Man United have only just started picking up. They are a point behind it. It's really hard to say because everyone's all over the place.
I'll give you my answer. I think we will probably finish about 9th. And that's 2 seasons in a row we've dropped
Well, we're in big
league
trouble.
position.
Then.
And that's the biggest question that Eddie Howe right now.
I think
is
we'll finish
under the-
9th. How's in bother? Like,
He's got the biggest test right now. Never mind towards the end of the season. He might not even make it that far. I think he's in the biggest pressure situation he's ever been as a Newcastle manager right now.
I hope he gets
You
a
said that
chance
2
to-
weeks ago.
And it got worse?
More than 2 weeks ago.
But I honestly think I don't think he's ever been in this position before as Newcastle.
But he
manager.
was in this position
Yeah, like
before
I
the
said,
Chelsea,
No,
the Arsenal.
and then last season, like I say, we were in 12th, I think, at one point.
The,
in
the
March.
noises have never
The
been.
noises
like
are getting
It
louder
has.
and louder.
It has.
They're getting
I
louder
totally
and louder
disagree.
now.
It was exactly the same before
I'm
the
looking at
international
comments now, and
court.
there's not many that are
Mate,
given.
I watched about 100, and I was fuming watching these videos. I need to clarify here. I don't know, because maybe people might just watch the start and then turn it off. I don't want him to go anywhere, right? I want him to be the manager here for 10 years, right? Wonderful. But I watched about 100 odd YouTube videos a day, right? Every single one of them was like, "This time's up," this and that. And I've never sat and listened to them. Now, just because that's
It's
their
mental.
opinion, but some of
It
them
is-
don't
it
have.
is
It's
mental.
mental.
No, it is
It is
mental. I agree. And some of these people have got huge followings, man. And people will be influenced by what they're saying.
Doesn't
And I
make
mean,
him right.
no, I know, I agree. I agree. I understand that, but you know what it's going to be like at the ground, though. I'm telling you, man. You know what we're like as fans.
And I what it was like at the end of the
West Ham
Well,
game was bad enough.
Well, look at the West Ham game, Bessie. When was the last time you saw that? The amount of people walking out.
Just streaming out because there was lads behind me going off it.
No,
like
no,
going,
but I'm talking about what 75th minute people started leaving
I
in
remember
big
Nah,
numbers.
it was on the second. It was when the second goal went in.
Well, that's great.
People started leaving. Honestly, people started leaving. Then fair enough, when what minute did the second go in?
I can't remember now, but it wasn't that.
I remember
80 odd, wasn't it?
I think it was the end of the 2003-2004 season, maybe it's 4 or 5. We finished 4th or 5th and played Wolves last game of the season. Drew. Underwhelming. Still finished 4th or 5th in the Premier League. The ground was empty for the lap of honor at the end. And that's finishing 4th or 5th.
That's
I don't think that's a very good gauge. I think all they're saying there is that the fans are quite fickle, extremely fickle.
No, football fans fickle.
No,
No,
I get that, but I think that's for me personally. That's the first time we've seen that under Howe.
it's not.
Leaving that early, 100%. It
As
is.
early as West Ham was notable. It was notable. Like a lot of people.
What time
left
did you
early.
think West Ham scored their second?
58?
53rd minute they scored it.
So 80
I thought it
odd.
was later than that.
50
to be fair.
It was
I
early
thought it
because
was
it scored
early.
early in both halves. It was 9th minute in the first half.
Mhm.
Yeah. And that was the point.
And it shouldn't be just because some people are kicking off. It shouldn't be, but that is unfortunately what gathers traction, right? Now, what you hope is the board and all the rest of it just listen, like they're getting paid enough. Them are the ones making the decisions, and they just don't listen to the noise. That's what you hope, obviously, of course.
Mm.
It happens. You just want them to,
Yeah.
and I hope how obviously turns it around. You know what I mean? But on the way things are looking in terms of lack of goal threat. Hopefully it clicks and we sort something out. I don't have the answers to that question. I know I've banged on here saying how bad it is. I don't have the answer of how we change that.
I hope.
But it has to
I'd
change,
like,
though.
I'd like to think, and something that we've said, we've been saying for a long time now, like, Howe's earned himself time to, in my eyes, people saying that it's time when it's gone to, I think that's absolutely incredibly.
It's horrendous. Huh?
No, I think we're all
I
in
agree.
agreement with you there, Bestie.
But
I
think
There is
it's
fans
getting
who are saying,
closer.
I
It
watched
is
some of the
getting
day where
closer.
they're saying like, I don't give a monkey's about his past.
he should have he's surely that the work he's done in the past 2 years, 3 years nearly, has given him quite a lot of leeway to get where they'll say they have that patience with him. I mean, it's been said as well that when Stavery went, that he lost a strong ally in the boardroom and stuff. And I think there's probably some truth in that, but I really hope that he does get given a good chance.
I think what you're saying is right, and I'm in full agreement with it. But I think that well is starting to dry up a little bit now with a lot of the fan base.
It's been a week since it has. It's been a week since the start of the West Ham game. We'd only just gone behind this time last week, and we were still on top. And it's been people are going bananas at about 120 minutes of football.
Because you've got to look at the opposition as well, though, don't you? You have to look at that. You've got to put that in a context. The opposition, we shouldn't be picking up 1 point against West Ham and Palace. But Mark, we shouldn't. No matter, you can't say you could expect.
Why shouldn't we though?
Because if we want to be challenging for Europe, you have to beat these teams.
We've got 6 points off Arsenal and Nottingham Forest. 2 games before that, they were both in top 4.
I'm not even. I'm going to say it again. I'm not even talking about the point here, because I'm maybe more in the camp of used to of like, yes, you want to go in and win the game, but you can't always do that.
You can't.
It was just the performance. I'm coming back to it again. The performance was.
And you're normally bad at that, aren't you?
I'm terrible at that.
It's only such and such. Like, and I get.
Well, I've only got Bromley in the cup. You know what I mean? It's 10 out.
From an attacking perspective,
that's a big game. That suddenly becomes a big game.
From an attacking perspective, it was dreadful. It was really poor. And even at the end, me and Mark have said it defended well. The goal was a bad one to concede. Like
terrible. That really is terrible. But like, yeah, listen, I think the Liverpool game coming up, right? I don't really think you learn anything about her in that game, because I think it's just what we will just sit back and try and beat them on the break, and it's going to be horrendous. But obviously they are amazing.
I'm leaving with Mark.
Right,
but now we've got. I did not leave before the end of that game.
You
did?
I watched it.
You were out before the full time whistle. I think you went when
I meant to win the stadium.
The stoppage time went up, and it was like
no,
7 minutes.
Because we had a conversation about how long it was.
And then you ran it.
I left the stadium these two, and you were in your car.
100%.
You nearly hit one.
Remember that? You left the ground.
That's because I couldn't get out of it. I didn't even know it. So I left and the reason I left was because
you're a real fan.
Was because the players that were going to be walking around the pitch did not deserve my applause. But what I wasn't going to do...
You left well before the end of the game, Mark.
I did not.
You did?
Look,
you left when Sam Fenner's band come out at half time.
I wish I had.
You left more or less when the injury time thing came up?
Nah, I was still there.
You did?
For that.
I watched you go.
When you get in touch with security from St. James's
I was still there in extra time. I think what happened was, I think we had a break or something like that. And it was probably on about 5 minutes of the injury time.
Big break since
and there was some shit happened, and I went, right, that's it. I've had enough. And I went. I never leave before the end of the game.
You did? You left before.
No, I'm saying I never do it
before the end of the game. But I'm not going on Wednesday. I'm so happy.
Hey, honestly, right? Do you know what's West Ham for me are horrific, right? I really do think that. I think 4 points behind us.
Yeah, was it 5-2, 5-4?
But look, instead of looking down the table, look up the table.
Yeah, we're gone.
How many points are we on?
We're on 19 points.
Right. Now look at how many teams above us are on 19 points.
Yeah, we're 4 points behind Man City, if you want to look at it that way. Yeah.
Champions, Man City.
No, well,
runners up 24, 25.
When you're removing a lot of context.
I mean, we've played 13 and won 5. And I'm only going to be honest, I would have expected to, and our goal difference is 0. That's not.
Do you know what it is? I think, you know what, right? We'll have to go back to look at the games that we've won. Have we been convincing?
Does it matter?
Forest, I would say, probably. Second half, Forest would done really well.
That was the best game, without doubt. That was amazing. Absolutely
really well.
Tremendous.
Obviously, we'll get a decent result against Arsenal, so we'll throw that one in.
Played well against Arsenal.
Chelsea was in the cup.
Tottenham played, I think, deserved to win against Tottenham early in the season.
But
have Liverpool played brilliantly every game this season?
Not many.
Their fans aren't complaining sitting top of the league,
it's few and far between, though, that way, naming decent performances. And decent performances.
It was only 1-5, was it? We've won there?
Well, there's a few. I'm going to be really honest here, right? So I'm going to go to the Wolves game. The Wolves game I thought was horrendous, but we won 2-1, and that was about the time when people were saying, "Oh, it's a sign of a good team, one that plays poorly and wins." And I can agree with that, but it's when the performance never seemed to get any better when I maybe see there's a problem. Then that was followed by Fulham at 3-1, which is one of the worst of the season. We've then had Wimbledon in the cup.
Worst.
Literally couldn't have a shot at goal against Wimbledon.
Controlled it, but they
Everton
0-0.
Have we ever beat Everton on name at their place?
He'll beat them 4-1 a couple of years ago. But he's at
you've done the thing. Well, so 0-0. So there's another one. Then we've got to beat off Brighton. Then we've got to beat off Chelsea.
I'm just reading them out here. Like, you know what I mean?
Brighton,
and if we're talking about performances, not just results, the Everton and Brighton games were by far the better sides in both games.
We absolutely battered them.
If Anthony Gordon, if Gordon scores that penalty at Everton, if what happened against Brighton, I forget now, but we're played. But now we're just saying there that it draws.
We're looking at Palace and saying that.
No, but
they've missed 4 clear
But that's the argument you're using for how bad we are.
I've just said earlier on, it evens itself out. So we can't sit here and go, oh, but if we had scored that goal, because there's 19 other teams that'll be in the same situation. But if we had scored that goal, nobody would ever win the league.
Which is why we can't have an expectation that any game that we've got an
expectation. We've got an expectation of 0.04.
But when we're saying that the result, and I agree that the performance is quite alarming, but it's not
in front of goal.
But not a terrible, but it's not a terrible result. Then you've also got to say that the results against Brighton, Everton weren't what you expect, but the performance was quite heartening. Chelsea, they didn't play that badly, but got caught out in a couple of. Cole Palmer was in wonderful form, and Shea made that daft mistake, and they got the.
Well, then beat them in the cup almost immediately after.
Well, they had a big change, didn't they?
Chelsea in the it's just again,
there was loads of changes.
I just think there's a lot of fits.
You can't even give credit for a performance.
There was, but you can't say we got beat off Chelsea in the Premier League, then went and beat them in the cup, and then made 10 changes.
We made changes, didn't we?
Not many.
There was a few. There
was 6, I think.
Palmer didn't even.
Well, they made 10. They made the full team.
Honestly,
no. Listen, I'm not taking anything away from the cup game. I'm not.
It was a good performance because Tonali had a great game, and
really
Kelly had a great game as well. Both of them got dropped the next game, mate.
But there's just a lot of games in there that it just seems much of a muchness for me.
But there again, like I say, you've just met Everton and Brighton there. Same again, we were excellent, but just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net.
But that's what I'm saying against.
But again, against Palace, we were
in West Ham
terrible, but couldn't have a shot in it. But it's the same thing when you're saying that the worst thing about the Palace thing is the performance.
Yes.
Then when they're playing really well but can't score, then you can't then use that as but terrible.
No. I never. I have to say, I never said that much. I was just reading the scores out.
Yeah.
Like we've.
I know what it was implied, though, wasn't it?
I don't think
I've lost the game, so it wasn't great.
I don't think Palace were great.
But you've. I think I don't know the exact number, but something like 14 games and scored 13 goals, or maybe the other way around. Sorry, maybe it's 14 and 13.
It's not. And haven't been the same in front of the goal this year. Gordon started the season poorly, but he didn't have a full pre-season. But I think he should be doing better. He's better doing
the only good thing of the game on Saturday, I thought, was the actual goal. I appreciate it was a one goal. It was a lovely move, though.
I still think Tonali played well. Like
he was good.
I'm with you there, Bestie.
Yeah,
he was good.
Do you think so? Gordon's performance against Palace, there were so many times just so wasteful, trying to play balls that weren't even making it past the last man. It was a strange performance from Gordon.
He needs to start trying to do just basic stuff again. And I like, instead of trying to kind of, because he was wonderful last season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we all agree that.
Yeah.
But you think he's kind of thinking, well, that's what I am now. And he's, I don't want to say he sounds arrogant because that I don't imply that there's arrogance creeping out like that. But
has the start of the season unsettled him from this Liverpool stuff, the rumours?
I don't think so.
Playing right wing a little bit.
I think until the start of the season.
I don't think so. Because I think
his new contract done and dusted. You'd think like
he signed that new contract a long time before it was announced.
Yeah.
So I don't really think so. I think that was just people putting 2 and 2 together.
There's 2 opportunities, those Bessie. There's one where he's on the right hand side and Tino makes the run in front of him, and you're thinking you just play Tino in, and Tino whips the ball in. He tries to come back across field, and I think Joe Linton's standing there in the middle, and I think it's Gay that just picks the ball. Thank you very much. Then there's another one where on the break it's 4 versus 3 Palace players, and Gordon's running with the ball, and he's got opportunity to play players in on the left and the right, and he just loses it. He tries to hold on and run at the player, and he just loses it. And you're thinking you've got to take those opportunities.
To Mark's point, that's not how his fault.
No, of course not.
Do you know
that's
what I mean?
Bad decision making.
Yeah, 100%.
You say the one against West Ham, the shot he has, he should do better with that shot. It's a good save by Fabianski.
It is.
But really, he should be scoring that.
And his performance in that game wasn't good.
It wasn't.
I mean, he got taken off after 70 minutes. 60 minutes.
I don't think it's for the one to try. Again, I think that's kind of dictated a little bit by what happened in front of him because he went to centre midfield for 10 minutes. Which
will you kind of put that in the equation, Bessie, and think that he's not in his favoured position being on the left-hand side, but then you're then opening kind of worms with Joe Linton and Willock, then you're going back to the situation that we've got on the right-hand side of who plays there. Like
Barnes has struggled. Barnes has struggled a lot when he's come on recently as well. Barnes hasn't looked. He was getting this.
He hasn't. Barnes
he really hasn't looked good. Has he?
And
before he was coming on scoring rakers.
Yeah.
And I did say this at the time. He ain't going to come on and do that every game. Like you cannot do that. But when he's come on, he has struggled. Like.
But again, when he was in that run of form, he was coming onto a team that's playing with a lot of confidence. You know, getting.
There's a lot of times we're trailing the game though, mate. That's why they were bringing him on.
The game
and he was the one changing.
Well, the Wolves game, West Ham
was a West Ham game, yeah.
Towards the end last season, ironically, given that was last week, we played them again.
I
Well,
don't.
it's-
What do you think they've got? What do you think that has to change then? Like,
I think
obviously, he doesn't believe
Individual performances have
but
to
then-
improve. That's the top and bottom of it.
I think
Our star performers are not performing.
So does that change?
So you either have to.
Does your manager have to be brave enough to change the squad?
I mean, we talked about this a few weeks ago with Bruno. Ironically, was around that his performances hadn't been the best for a long time. But would he take the decision to take him out of there?
Which is a bold decision to make.
He did it though in the
cup.
in the
That's
cup game.
an easy
but
excuse. That
it is an easy one to do, but it worked.
you can't be dropping Bruno.
I-
Like, if you're Howard, like,
I think we haven't mentioned this yet at all. Anyway, we're talking about players. We're talking about how we haven't signed anyone. We've had some poor windows as well.
100%.
we have.
We
but
talked about that the
We've
other week.
got
though, didn't we?
players. We've got the players that we have to our disposal. They should be playing better.
I was
We
gonna
should be
say,
getting better
Bessie,
performances. Should
we
get
can't-
better results.
I get PSR, and I think we're in agreement that yes, you can blame it for a certain amount of things, but you can't blame PSR for not having a shot against Palace. Like
Well, you can.
you can't.
No, mate, come on.
Of course you can.
You can't.
Come on.
Out of 11
You
well,
can't- you
10
can't-
outfield players,
you
you can't
can't-
expect one shot on target.
You can't blame it fully,
No, mate.
but it
You
100%
can't blame it at all.
contributes to it.
You can't.
Of course it does.
You can't.
man.
You could pick a team up from League Two now, and I bet you they have a shot on target against Palace.
mate, you
No,
can't.
I mean, Palace was set up differently as well.
You can't be throwing PSR in the
There'd be
mix
more
there for
room.
having a shot. Like,
You
What
can't.
about
I'm not-
500
I'm not
million
saying
pounds
it's-
of players in the field, man.
Aye, but
Collectively possible.
when the rest of the league have strengthened in the summer, we haven't. We've stood still.
I'm sure you sat
We've
here.
stagnated.
But I'm sure you sat here at the beginning saying it was a good window and Kelly was this, and I'm positive you did. Like, because I was criticising the window and you were going, nah. It's all rosy and half glass full and all that. I'm sure you did. Now you're saying PSR.
I'm
I get
not
PSR
saying
is to
it's
blame
PSR,
for a
so
lot
I'm
of
saying
things, but
it's
not
a
for not that.
contribution to it.
We might not qualify.
But it is, because,
no,
right,
we may not
it's
qualify for Europe. We might not qualify for Europe this season. And I will actually park a lot of blame that we're not allowed to spend.
Yeah.
But I'm with Chris and that. Jesus, Lord. That lineup, man, there was only Botman missing, and you couldn't have a shot on goal.
There was only bottom missing from the team that played last season.
Wonderful.
So had we have strengthened in January had we have strengthened in the summer, you're saying that performances wouldn't be any different?
No, I'm not
No, we're
saying
not
that.
saying
So
that.
therefore,
saying-
PSR
No,
is
I'm saying you
is
can't
impacting
blame
it.
PSR for not having a shot at the weekend
you
against
can.
Palace. You can't. You can't, man. You've got to put some blame on the players like that are there.
100%.
That are
That's
there.
whoa. That's why I'm saying it's not fully to blame, but it's certainly a contribution to it.
Exactly, so your PSR to blame. No,
Because if we hadn't have had two bad transfer windows, then the team
but
would
two
have
bad now.
wouldn't. I just said
you
that.
never said that.
January-
before. I'm sorry.
January in the summer, we all fully expected us to strengthen more than we have done.
I think we're weakened. I mean, strengthened.
No, we're not weakened.
Well, I lost
I think-
Anderson and I lost Minty. Didn't I?
Well,
Minty, who never played
I don't
for,
include Minty in that, but I think we're weakened the squad. Like,
We haven't.
Bring Armour on.
Starting
back.
11, I
So we've
think we
lost Anderson, but Tonali technically came in and replaced him, and I know he was already
no,
here
Tonali
before we
didn't
go
come in
down
and
that.
replace Anderson.
Well, he
was
did
there
because we
before
didn't have him
Anderson.
all last season,
Tonali
for the
did not
first
replace
half a
Anderson.
dozen games.
You don't replace a player that's already there. We didn't replace him.
Do you still think that's a worry that him and Bruno playing together? Does
No,
that-
because I thought Tonali played very well at the
Well,
weekend.
Bruno didn't know.
No,
like, what I'm
but he
trying-
hasn't played very well all
Aye,
season.
well, you're hoping if you play, if you're playing one of them, you want them both to try and play well together. That's probably the ambition of that, right? But he moved Tonali, I would say.
He went in the 6 early on,
which I
didn't
thought he
Yeah.
played really well. I thought Tonali,
Did?
really well strong, but he played well.
He
And
did-
I'm a
I think he
massive
played
fan
very
of
well,
Tonali.
yeah, he
A
played
massive
well.
fan of Tonali.
But
So
yeah,
I just don't know what we can do.
I get what you're saying. PSR, yes. If you don't invest in the squad and if you don't improve the first team, yes, it's going to affect performances overall. But
so which
having
affects the
said
results
that,
is,
no
what,
matter-
is what I'm saying to you.
I've got to disagree. I think that even if we hadn't bought a single player in the summer, I think we should at least be putting in a better
Yeah.
performance against Palace. Even
100%.
without a striker on the field,
100%.
man.
How?
Because what do you mean how? I know you're saying you can't expect to win goals, but you can have a shot at fucking goal.
So
One shot.
So let's just say then, all right, that from 30 yards out, Fabian Schär strikes one and the keeper makes a save. Does that suddenly change all of your perception of that game?
It's a shot on target.
bit
I'm not,
better,
I'm
though.
not
Does
going to
it
sit here
change-
and
right.
saying it's a worry that we haven't had a shot.
But
we're
how
not-
many times do we stand at the game and say, and I knew, I hate shouting it,
When you're
the
there.
old shoot, but how many times do we just go from one side of the box to the other, to then send it back the other way. We don't have shots.
But we've also
We
said
don't
that-
shoot.
Who's that on?
Well, that's a
The
good
players
one.
on the
Oh,
pitch.
my
How can that be?
Well, I haven't finished. The players on the pitch, the way that they're trying to work their way into the box, PSR, because we haven't found anybody that can pick a little pass to find that final good ball.
Is PSR stopping our players having
It's a
shot on target?
contribution of many, many things that are leading us
buying
into
you a
this
Newcastle shirt with
situation.
PSR on the back of it.
PSR is not the fault for our
Put
players
PSR
not
front.
having a shot. Like,
I'm not saying it is the
well,
fault.
that's just what you're
I'm saying it's a contribution.
But that's worrying. That the
But
fact,
it is, because if we could have spent
I think that's
300 million
I
pounds
think it's tactically.
in the summer, would we have had a shot on target? You would fully expect to, because we might have had 3 or 4 completely different players playing in that team.
But you shouldn't have to spend £300 or £400 million with
That
the
was
amount
shot.
of money you've got on the pitch on Saturday. You've got a £60 million striker. You've got a £40 million England national left winger. You got Bruno worth apparently 100 million.
So you
Tonali's
would
50 odd.
So you would expect one of those
Yes,
players
100%.
to have a shot.
Yes. I'd
So
expect to
how is
score.
that Eddie Howe's fault that they're not shooting?
well, maybe it's the way that we're building up play.
I think the
So did we not get in any positions where we could, but we didn't? We just then moved the ball across the pitch or try to walk
But
it into the
being,
box.
are they being told
What, so
that?
you
That's
think-
what I'm saying. We don't have the knowledge to say what's right and what's wrong with that situation. If
So
it's
you
on
don't
players
think
or
Howe's
Eddie Howe,
telling
or
them
both.
to do that though?
It's on both, probably.
Do you think Howe's telling them to keep possession, overload certain areas of the field, get it left, spread the play left and right as fast as you can?
Yeah,
get
but
the
are they
opposition
doing?
moving?
Are they doing that?
I thought that's what you've just said, haven't you? That
No,
they'll
no,
go
no,
side to
no.
side or something?
So,
That's what you've just
so
said.
they're not then doing that, are they? They're not overloading. They're not making those little runs in the box. They're not making that little pass.
Well, maybe not. I mean, I'm
So that's where it comes back to the players on the pitch
I think it was a
are
couple of,
not
there was a
performing.
couple of
to-
chances where the balls were. Well, I think Tino did one where he gets right to the byline, he cuts it right back across. There's just nobody
Nobody
there. Joe
there.
Linton does one as well.
Yeah.
Joe Linton's got the ball on the left hand side. He looks up. There's not a single person.
So it's not
in
to
the
say
box.
we're not getting into the positions, but when we are getting into the positions, we're not taking the chances or we're not taking a risk to have a shot on target.
Do you know what it is? I'm going to go right back to the start. I'm just worried that this is going to be our performances of the season, but we're going to put a couple of decent results together, then some horrendous ones as well.
But I think that happens every season.
I think that's most teams in the Premier League this season.
I know, but
Like
I
that's-
think if we're wanting to push on, I said at the very start of the season that if we don't get European football, I think it's a failure season because last season we could blame it on injuries. This season, apparently, we're just solely blaming it on PSR. There's other teams that are affected by it as well,
Not to the extent we are.
but they're still affected. Of course, they're still affected. We've obviously,
Right.
We have-
And I'll give you one other team that is affected by it. Aston Villa.
but you've got
How are
to.
they doing this
But then
season?
you've got to look at the bigger picture
they're
and say
playing Europe now.
we've struggled in the summer because something went absolutely tits up. The fact that we were trying to sell our key players to get out of this black hole that we're in with PSR, when we've had
I'll
X
tell you
amount of years
exactly
to.
what went wrong. Bruno stayed.
Well, that they were relying on Bruno being sold. Of course they were.
I'll
But
tell you, no one's going to pay what we're expecting to try. I don't think someone's
but
paying
we're
90
also
grand,
looking at the likes of trying to sell Gordon. We're looking at Isaac going.
I don't think we were ever trying to sell Gordon.
100% we're trying to sell Gordon. 100%. I honestly think we've asked the question about Gordon going to
No,
Liverpool.
it was the
Well,
other way
listen,
around. It was
listen.
Liverpool were asking us, but they didn't want to pay anywhere near it. Was what came out, isn't it?
I think it's been quite emotional tonight, which is great. That's the way it should be,
I was
right?
thinking that.
I've got a
But-
splitting headache.
No, but I think all of us though collectively agree how can turn it around.
Yeah,
I think you can.
we've seen him
You
do it
don't think
before.
how has to. You think it's the players need to turn it around, right? That's the consensus I'm getting from you.
100%. The players get off far too lightly in
They
football.
do, but it's
Well,
football, isn't
we
it?
do on a weekend.
100% get let off far too. It
I
always
think it's a
the
combination of
focus
both.
goes to the manager.
You've got to look at your key players and look at the likes of, and I mentioned them a couple of times. You've got to look at Bruno and Gordon. They have to be performing better.
And Isaac.
100%.
And I know he
But
was.
Isaac
obviously
has got a few
He went
goals
off
this season.
injured.
He has been scoring a few.
He's been scoring a few goals.
Yes,
this
but,
season.
but
I
there's a lot of games where he's been, and again, I can look at other reasons
hasn't-
around that and say it's not purely him.
Hasn't he tied the? It felt like about 5 minutes ago where he tied the record at home or something like I don't know, 7 in a row or something. Or
Well,
something like
he
that.
was
It feels like
earlier on the season. He was very close with.
But I think
his
this
leading scorer
this
around
is
the
this
league,
is
wasn't he?
the problem I have is like I always still think he's too isolated anyway. To be honest, when we play. But besides that, when he goals from other areas of the field,
Agree?
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Midfield never seem to chip in with a goal. What's happened here?
I'll tell you afterwards.
Oh, right, okay. Is it good? Is it?
It's really a struggle, yeah. Right.
But
If anybody's got
Bruno
any
doesn't score
questions,
goals, does he?
send them
he
in
did
now.
when he first
Power.
came.
So, any questions? We'll go another 5-10 minutes. Any questions? Send them in now. Obviously, as always, we do have a donation from Josh, and he says,
Hey, the flu's gone now. I was ill, and now I feel
you
great.
just need, whenever you feel
Yeah.
unwell, just go visit
Just
Mark.
shout at him.
The serotonin and endorphins are flowing through your body.
I feel really good.
So Josh says, and thank you very much, Josh, for the donation. He says, is anyone else getting bored of Eddie Howe's press conferences and post-match interviews, or am I being harsh because of Saturday? Not quite as repetitive as Bruce. I'm quietly confident or Pardew's get one over the line, but still I want to see some fire. I'll be honest with you, because I didn't mention it earlier, I'm more Bestie's side of the court with this, because you're not going to really get a manager these days and be overly emotional about a performance. They're going to keep that in-house, and I'm sure he's give all the lads an absolute bollocking behind the
They'll
scenes.
have been getting a kicking all the way
They're
home.
100% would have.
I get it.
Whatever they got at
But-
West Ham didn't work.
I think there's a fine line as well by coming out and saying, oh, we're good at the blah, 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 blah. Sometimes, as a fan, you just want them to say it wasn't good enough. We need to fix it.
Mate, listen,
But he has said that.
I'm not going to bed crying about it, right? And you have to understand, some of the perspective I'm trying to say here is you've got loads of fans who've travelled all the way down there, right? They'll be absolutely fuming with that performance. They sit on the bus on the way up, and there'll be a lot of fans go, he said this was alright. I'm sorry, that's how a lot of fans end off turning. And I don't want anyone to turn. This is the point I'm trying to make. People will read that and go, are you fucking kidding me? That's when people will get annoyed. And even I read it and went, Jesus Lord, mate, how have a word. Just come out and say it was shite. Well, not swear, but just say I'm very disappointed. Yes, we're lucky to concede in the last minute, but the performance itself wasn't good enough. And then fans will go, why are you fucking read? You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't understand what's so hard. You're not throwing the players under the bus. You're not saying they were horrendous. You're not saying he couldn't run or he didn't do this or you're not saying any of that. You're just saying the performance is not good.
But I think in not so many words, he said exactly what you wanted him to say.
What?
He focused on the things that
he said
that he thought
we did well. We were very good until the final third. We were not very good until the final third. We couldn't keep hold of the ball, man. We were terrible in possession. He was saying we kept the ball really well. And luck went against us in the end. We should have been 3 or 4-0 down. Look would have been against you if that was their first shot, or they've had two or three shots a goal and the score in the last minute. Yes, 100%. You've dominated the game and you've got a sucker punch. Absolutely, luck's turned against you. If anything, luck had turned against them. It took an own goal for us to take the lead, and then my bad were. So if anything, really, the luck was on the other side. I felt that's really it's just silly to say that. Sorry.
I've done nothing tonight.
You've been had a quite chilled night.
Yeah,
haven't you,
it's great,
Bestie? There's been a couple of comments coming in, people saying that it has been quite animated tonight, which it has, because do you know what it is? I think
it's, you know why though?
It's because we care. Back.
It's because we care.
Yeah.
Someone said that when I went out with Gordon, saying I'd rather have Maxi back in the West Ham game. Amazing.
I've seen he's wearing Maxi on the back of his shirt now as well, not just the Maxi.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Yeah.
Shame that. Like, I don't like that.
He put a picture on these two lasses again. He's got them both.
Pound a letter over in Turkey.
What a guy! What a guy! Man. What a guy!
Anything that you want to discuss while we wait for a couple of questions to come in? So send them in, and we'll go through. Is there anything which is
early, isn't it?
Well,
just keep going. Anything I want to mention? Well, the Liverpool game. What's your thoughts on that? What,
I'm shitting my pants.
Nah. No.
How can you
No, we're not going to get beat 4 or 5-0. I still think we'll give them a game. I mean, we're going to lose. I think we will lose, but I don't think I'm not.
Where's that confidence came from?
Well, I think if you go the week before, I mean, we'll beat Arsenal, who they weren't flying at the time, but Man City, I think we drew against, and they weren't as bad as they are now at the time. I do think we always perform better against a better opposition.
I'll give you that.
I think teams that press you a bit more, we tend to find the space in behind a bit more.
Yeah, and I find that we sit back, soak it up, and try and break them. We
also got our arses handled with Anfield last season.
Oh, but Anfield's a
Trying to
different
sit
beast.
deep, and I think they're that good this season. I think we're in bother. Not in bother.
Yes,
I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah, I just.
What's your score
prediction? You're not going to watch it anyway.
What's your score prediction?
I think maybe 2-0, maybe 2-0. Yeah,
I might not watch it.
I am worried though if it goes
I might give it a
3s and 4s like.
I'm
just worried about the audience and about
is against Liverpool and how well they're doing this season is
brilliant.
Conceding early. That's my worry.
Dropped 2 points all season in the league.
Forest beat them.
Won.
Do you know Forest beat them at Anfield?
Yeah,
1-0. I tell you what has been amazing for you think of this week of football. They beat Real Madrid at home, and I am quite big on this. Me, when you have a game like that where it can suck everything out of you, like because you've put so much into it. And that Man City the weekend, they demolished them. I know it was only 2-0, but they demolished them. They then got us, and then they've got Everton, the last ever derby at
that's one good. Yeah.
Like as a fan or as a team, that's 4 games, and still to them. Coming to our building is going to be difficult. You know what I mean? It's a big week. But I agree they'll probably win every single game.
It's always a good atmosphere against them, I find. It feels like even when we were down the bottom and they were kind of near the top, we've always...
The one that stands out massively was the Rafa one when they got a free kick when they should have never gotten it.
I was raging about the dive.
Yeah.
The fact they scored the winner from it. And the Metros Ross had to get the bus back, the Shields from...
There was hell on at that game in front of me. There was Liverpool fans everywhere. There was a guy ran along
dive, the one where there's
was it Fabinho?
Yeah.
That dive,
Matt Ritchie.
There was a guy, honestly, ran along
wild.
in the Platinum Club, ran along, stood on the exit to the
you were Platinum Club then,
and
weren't you?
just 2-footed someone. There was a bay in there and everything. Just Liverpool fan jumped off. I was like, what is going on here? It was just crazy. Absolutely.
Yeah, I remember loads of people. It felt like loads of people kind of getting lifted out and stuff like that. Yeah.
Right, let's go through a couple of questions. So the first one is from John Ruddy, who is a member. So
John Ruddy. Right, John.
If you do want to become a member, it is just $2.99 a month. I know you've got a lot of time on your hands, John. He says, are we capable of change? This system seems to have hit a wall.
That's a great question, because that's honestly my only worry is will we I mean, we've asked to change, we're not asked to change formation, but maybe there's times where I've expected perhaps a change and you just see the 4-3-3 getting trotted out again. And that's my only worry. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope we'll turn up with 4-3-3 and beat Liverpool 5-0. That's what I want more than anything in the world. But the question that's being raised there is what my honest opinion is, maybe longevity of it. Is that tactic just starting to burn itself out? And do we have another one?
He kind of tinkered a little bit with the 5 at the back a couple of times last season.
This season?
I think the problem that you have there is I think Hall and Tino can both do that. They can both play wing backs as well as they can full back. Who's your 3 centre halves? I suppose Kelly, Shea, Byrne will be the 3 there. If it's not going well, it doesn't give you a massive amount of scope because there's not really any more defenders at the minute. Botman and Lascelles both being knackered.
The problem you've got is when
back in training, which was nice to see this week.
I suppose Target playing for the under 10s again.
It's still ages away though, isn't he? Botman, really.
Aye.
It'd be a new year, I would have thought.
Hope he comes back, Harry. Like when he does come back.
Let's have a quick conversation about the cup draw. So that was just before we went live there tonight. There's a couple of people asking us to talk about it. Bessie, you'll be glad to know we have another home fixture.
Very glad.
And this is against Bromley. So fingers
Andy
crossed.
Woodman's
Bromley do not play a low block because we are fucked.
They absolutely will.
Oh, well,
so Bromley currently sit 20th in League Two. They have won 3 games this season.
Man City,
played
Arsenal.
16.
They were lucky to get through yesterday as well. Like,
who were they playing? I didn't see any of the. I kind of took a huff after full time when our game didn't watch
some social club, probably.
It's a good draw either way.
Well, listen, we're pissed and moaned about the difficult cup draws we've had over the years, rightfully so as well. You know, away at Man City, away at Chelsea, which just seem to get everybody. So the gods have been kind, and we hopefully roll out the next round, no bother at all.
Yeah,
we might actually have some shots and get some confidence in the.
Are you worried about the performance that we put up against Wimbledon?
Well, honestly, I remember thinking that Wimbledon game. I thought, this will be the game where we'll start to see it. Goodness gracious me, that game was.
We had all the ball against Wimbledon. We couldn't. They quite often just had 10 men in alignment from the goalkeeper.
You've got to be better. Haven't you? You've got to be better.
But it's true.
You've got to take a risk. Have a shot.
It's true, but
take a pass.
No, I agree.
Some of our best results under Benitez and Bruce when we did that.
Yeah, low blocks
against like some Man City and.
Oh yeah, but it's a Premier League opposition against a Premier League team.
Yeah.
This is pretty Wimbledon at home. Like they should be able to put the entire squad. I mean, all 26 of them or whatever on the line, and we should be able to win like comfortably. I my opinion.
Anyway, we've got to get it there first. Not until January, is it? We've got.
I think we're qualified for third round.
Team game before that, and many
years
league games between there.
Well, how will be gone by then? I'm joking. Actually,
I'm joking. By then, Mark, we've got 10 minutes left. If you want to.
I love how you added when you left as a full-time whistle went.
Because I did.
You got 3 people. Yeah,
3 people that sit and lie every bloody week.
Mate,
you seem to forget he sits there every week and says we don't sing.
You didn't really sing much against West Ham. You did early on.
Surprisingly,
early on you did, but towards the end, because I was so used to, because I was one of the ones doing the and the party's that way. Anyhow, Jesus,
from there. Stop swearing,
that was the last time he was in a game.
You know when you like repressed memories that just come out.
That song lasted for a good 20 odd minutes, didn't it? Like
I was singing it full time, and I thought like. I stop yet? And then nope, don't keep going.
We stayed in the ground till we were one of the last ones, didn't they? Really, weren't
They
we?
were, yeah.
Stood and heckled True Faith.
We did. But
That's why you're giving it the big one,
What? Because I'd stay for the whole game.
because you stayed beyond kicking out time.
Well, we stayed because we were coming out of the studio and we thought we were
Yeah,
going to hit traffic. So I
yeah.
thought, we'll
And then, as I
hang
said,
fire
we-
the
we-
best he walked past.
We honestly didn't leave the ground till about. It had to be 20 minutes.
We didn't
It was
get-
late,
we
wasn't
didn't
it?
get-
We were still
And
there
we're
for a good
still,
while.
you hadn't even getting anywhere. You
We
just,
were-
That's because I'd only just went to the car then, though.
so why not just wait at the end then?
Because I went to the club shop, look in the club shop.
Oh, did you?
The dogs didn't have anything.
Yeah, there's no in, is there?
There's no in it.
I went the other day. It's
Yeah.
awful.
I've not
yeah.
been. I've not been.
There's
in
no in it.
It's not good. Like.
I'm guessing there's no in the Metro Centre one either.
There's literally nothing. Like it's really bad.
We've got that yellow again. I put in the chat.
Remember when everybody said, "Oh, wait until we get Adidas in. We'll have all sorts. We'll never have these issues with not having enough stock."
That's a good point. Like. That's a good point. But it's like, how do you clap us? You're not allowed to criticise them. No, but you're right though. You're not allowed to do it. People are writing in. How dare you criticise Adidas? But you're right though. If that was Castor, goodness me, they'd be climbing over themselves to have a
I
go.
did order this one, by the way.
Yeah,
I've
I
got-
told you that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Did you get
Yeah,
it?
that was remember that was the one that you said didn't exist.
Yeah, that was
when
the
we're
one.
telling that
That was the one.
there was
What-
three
what colour
colours
did you say
available.
that
in
one
it.
was?
Well, you had the
Black.
green
I've
one.
got the green one.
Black,
There's no
green
black
and
one. Like,
beige.
No, and I said there's a
100%
green
black
one. I
one.
class that as cream. But
there's no black one.
The 100% is.
There isn't?
There's
No.
green, that colour, and a black.
yeah, there is a
Well,
black
there's no black one on the
There
website.
is.
There's now on the
We're
website.
just not putting it on the website then.
We're in this club
You've got
shop.
more chance to say Armour on for sale on there than.
He was adamant that didn't exist, wasn't he?
was, yeah. Hey,
Because there's another one that's very similar to
did you
this.
see them shorts he put on? Them shorts you put on the other day? Was it you?
How tight
Well,
was
you
it?
weren't wearing them, but you had a picture. You put a picture of the club shop. Was it you? Wasn't it?
Oh,
130
that's,
quid or something.
they've done. See, they've
Oh,
they've
yeah,
done
oh,
that.
yeah.
They've done that so they don't have to take the listing down.
So they're
That's
130
what.
pounds.
No.
Well, they are.
They'll
Well, yeah, if someone
they
pays
leave.
that money
They'll
down,
put the
so
list.
they are,
If somebody's stupid enough
Mark
to
will,
pay
eh?
that money, then
So why? What's the benefit of them not taking the listing down?
Yeah, why
because it's the effort of going. All they've done is just change the price. People do it all the time. So rather than you taking the
not? Rather
listing
than just
off
pressing delete.
and then having to put it, because then you have to rebuild it and put it back on. Whereas if you just have the listing there,
Hang on a
change the
second.
price,
I don't believe
Hang on.
people won't buy it.
No.
Yes.
No.
Just put, everything else just
Or-
everything else just
We-
say sold
we
What you can also
literally-
do is put
Aye.
it out of stock.
Just
We-
put sold
no.
out.
They've done that on loads of stuff. They've got
They just
sold
take all
out.
the sizes off.
We literally had an online shop that was selling merchandise that we used to do, where all you had to do from a shop point of view, and this is from budget, not Newcastle United wise, you just hide it. It just says hide. And you click it and it just
But surely
disappears.
they would rather just put sold out in red than put 130 pounds. Lie about the
On
price.
on the club shop.
That's not the price.
It's, loads of sites do it.
hats.
I'm sorry.
Got no, I left 400 quid.
iPhone a quid. Put that on.
Loads of people do it.
Legal get one.
They just do that. Change the price.
I
So
just
people
think I'm a
don't
full of
won't buy
shite,
them.
to be honest with you. Next question.
We don't have any.
Oh, must
Yeah,
have
we
one.
don't-
Go on.
honestly, we don't have one. That's you saw one bestie coming up.
No, maybe we can pay attention. 20. Someone would put 20 pence in.
There is a quick from Paul William that says, "Are War Flags still doing a Kevin Keegan tribute for Wednesday?"
They never
They're
were.
not. No, they were. They were planning on doing one, but they've said because of what's currently happened, they feel as if the current squad and managing staff need the support more than a tribute to somebody. So that's what they're going with. I
But
believe.
people put the fact that we're going to do a Kevin Keegan tribute together with the fact that he must be coming to the game, because that rumor was doing the rounds for
yeah,
ages.
well, Pete Graves
Until
came
the-
out and posted saying that he's not going to be at
that
the
he wasn't
game.
going to be there. Yeah.
So
Shame that.
God knows. It's been a long time.
But sorry, I'm
As I.
I'm
Probably
expecting
the
it
same
to
time
be
as Mark.
expecting it to be an Eddie Howe
Oh, I hope so.
tribute.
I hope
Something
so.
along those lines. Of,
I hope
Or
so,
a big
yeah.
arrow
Should
pointing
be.
towards a goal.
Yeah, we've seen that happen before, haven't we?
I've seen that one. I don't know if it was an Italian league or whatever. They had like a massive one. They were like passing it along the stand.
Especially, there's a lot of
Funny.
questions about your shorts tonight. Yeah, just asking like why you wearing shorts in December. But
Been wearing shorts in December for about 5 years. Well, it hasn't been December for 5
I was going to say that's a long December. It's like his birthday.
Chris, why are you wearing shorts in December?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
just
I've only put
convenient on the best.
I've only put my jeans on because I've been out and about today.
Yeah, I only
'Cause
put-
I'd have
I
had
put
my
jeans
shorts
for
on.
the office this morning and took them off when I got home, put these on, and that's it. I always wear shorts. I'm
Shorts are
comfy in
comfy.
shorts, yeah.
I normally do.
I tend to find that I don't mind if my legs are a bit cold, but the rest of us are
Aye.
wrapped up. Like, put my
Yeah.
legs on like that. I like legs.
Yeah.
And we've got these bad boys fucking propping me up.
We are official short wearers.
yeah.
Prediction
Just
for the
not
last
at
score.
£135 a pair.
For Wednesday,
Sorry,
Um,
Wednesday, sorry, yeah.
I predict the coverage is going to be awful.
Oh, it's
Oh.
on Prime, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's going to be.
I'm not in that regard. Just it's going to be talking about Liverpool.
Shearer will be doing it, won't he? Shearer normally does Prime.
Yeah,
And McCoy, Sally McCoy normally does it.
It
as
will
well,
be.
so-
It'll be a Liverpool fest, like.
I
Not as
think,
bad as Sky would have been.
I think we'll get
Or BT.
beat 4-1.
It was good,
One goal.
Fabian Shaw. Shoot.
Um, I'm going to say 2-0. I said 2-0. I'm going to stick with that.
To Liverpool.
Yeah.
Bessie, your mic's gone. I can't be asked to fix it, so that's us done.
Shout.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. It's been a pleasure, as always. There's been over 200 people watching throughout tonight, so thank you very much. Just like the video means a lot to us. Become a subscriber.
Subscriber! No, don't shout. I'm very loud.
So become a subscriber. Costs you nothing to do that. If you want to give an extra bit back, it is just $2.99 a month to become a member as well. So do that too. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. Ta-ra. You laughing?